Nityanandam. So this video is going to touch on a slightly provocative subject. It is about my plan for a graceful exit at the time of death. So my name is Manitya Dugananda. You're at my YouTube channel, Your Presence Heals. Let me share with you how this interest about a graceful exit and the signs of death. See, in 2004, I was playing with my child, a 1-year-old child, by the side of the bed, and suddenly I had a random thought. That thought was, what if I die now? And I could see that thought current trigger an enormous fear throughout my whole body. My heart was pounding, and I just suddenly realized one thing, that I need to understand about death. I need to meditate. So that was that kind of conclusion I had, triggered by that thought. Meaning, I did not understand what death is all about. That is still a blind spot in me. So that started the quest to understand more about death and how to transcend death. See, as a living yogi at the time, as a yogi at the time, I did not expect me to experience that enormous fear. When I actually cognize that the deep fear is within me, it means that, one, whatever I've set to do in this birth is still not accomplished. That means, see, the unconscious fear came from the fact that we feel that we haven't finished what we were meant to finish in this body. And we felt that that there's still so much to do, but we're not ready to leave. So that was part of the reason for the fear. So I needed to find out how to basically understand death, and so that I will be able to handle death at the time when it happens. So that quest brought me to meet my guru. His name is Paramsa Sri Nityananda, an enlightened being and living incarnation from India. So I finally met him in 2006 July by attending a 4-day program which was conducted by him. The program name is called Nityananda Spuruna Program, which is now commonly known as Nitya Kriya Yoga. At the time, it was a 4-day program, and in the program, what really attracted me was there was a death experience, a process to understand death and undergoing a rebirthing process. That was something that I've been looking forward to because of that incident, which I mentioned just now, which just drew me to say, yes, I wanted to know about death. And that moment, I just registered and I flew in. So in that experience, the 4-day program, besides going through a lot of release in terms of a lot of pain and guilt which I was carrying, the main process that he took us through was a conscious death, a psychological death, where I experienced that it's not discontinuity the moment we leave the body. In fact, it's continuity in another form. I experienced so much liberation, bliss, the moment I left the body during that process. So I know that death is not that scary. In fact, when I understand how to leave the body gracefully, it is actually a liberation, a celebration itself. So, as we all know that you can only learn about the most mysterious of the mystery, which is death, from enlightened beings. Why? Because those who have left, they are not able to come back. Those who left and came back, be very clear, they have not really experienced the full process of death. In the Eastern religion, only the enlightened masters, the enlightened sages, who have gone through the death experience at the point of enlightenment. They are only people who are qualified to talk about death, to share the science, the mystery of death. So I remember my guru also, Swamiji, he recommended us to read the book called Graceful Exit. And that book was a collection of many sadhus, enlightened masters, and great sages' experience of death, how they are able to attain a graceful exit at the state of Mahasamadhi. One of them, which inspired me, was the great master of this Kriya Yoga. His name is Lahiri Mahasaya. He is actually the guru and of gurus of Paramsa Yogananda. So I've seen all the different possibility how all these enlightened beings left the body. The way how they gracefully exit the body. The highest possibility for human being in terms of leaving the body gracefully is to relax into what we call the Mahasamadhi. That means sitting in the lotus position in a meditative state and leaving the body through the crown center, withdrawing the energy from the crown center. Now, so I've also read one of the fascinating account of basically enlightened master. His name is Adi Shankara. Now, Adi Shankara is one of the great enlightened beings who left the body through without a trace, meaning he just exit the body through a ball of light, Jyotirlinga, and he just merged into that ball of light and disappear into this from this physical plane. So there are many possible ways to exit the body by the example of these enlightened beings. So how do you know when a person is enlightened at the point of exit? In the Vedic tradition, there are two symptoms which was given by my guru. He said that when soul left the body, you can see whether the person is enlightened or not. One symptom is the two eyes will be looking at the third eye, second, the neck will be soft, not stiff. See, for ordinary human being, when they leave the body, the neck will be stiffened. So these are the two signs of two signs where you know whether the being who left the body is enlightened or not. So I shared this information with my son, and I told him that if I ever get enlightened when I'm still in the body, please check if I'm, whether you should bury me or burn the body. Because in the Eastern tradition, in the Vedic tradition, we do not burn the body of enlightened being. We preserve them so that it continues to radiate the enlightened energy, the higher consciousness on planet Earth. Whereas for ordinary human being who, leave the body, it is best that we burn the body, cremate the body as soon as possible. So that is an indication of whether a person is enlightened or not at that point of death. So how do I go about planning my graceful exit? Through my quest, I found that there are few things that we need to prepare. See, in the Vedic tradition, the master actually talk about the 4 life stages of a human being. One, the life stage of brahmacharya, like a student, where you're learning, you're still trying to understand about your self-life. That first life stage is about from 0 to 21 years old. That's a stage where you learn at the feet of the guru, the master, to understand about life, your life purpose, and also the great truth of the cosmos. And if the being so decide to live a householder life, that is grihastha. From 22 to 40, that's the time where a being can choose to get married and live a lifestyle of householder, having the responsibility of family and working. So by the time the being reached 40, that's the time we call the third life stage the vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is a time where you start to withdraw from the responsibility from the society and start turning your energy inwards to prepare for your next life stages. Basically, lessen the responsibility you are putting in the outer world and start focusing on your spiritual path and also your spiritual awakening. By the time the being reached 60, that's the last life stage called the sannyas. The sannyas is the life stage where you devote your time, your entire rest of your life to the divine, to God, and in preparation for the graceful exit. So you can see that the journey starts by the time we reach 40, because that's the time we start turning the energy inward instead of running behind for the family and for the society. So that was the recommended life stages that by the enlightened being. Of course, there are some people who know that married life is not for them. They go straight to sannyas. That means they decided to jump from brahmachari and straight to sannyas, meaning they skip the second and third life stages and just go straight to devote the time to serve humanity and serve God. So there is also another possibility. So that is one thing. So for me, by the time I turned 40, I left the corporate world and I started to turn my energy inwards to focus on spirituality and the quest for raising my consciousness and understanding the purpose of my birth. So through this process, I understand why I'm here and what I'm supposed to do, meaning understanding my prarabdha karma, the karma I brought with this body to exhaust, instead of getting confused or distracted by others' desires, others' borrowed desires, which was basically, given to me or I picked up after assuming the body from society. So an important process to understand what's your true desire versus what your borrowed desires are. That process will align your energy, your life, your body, everything to your purpose of birth, your life purpose. So when you start exhausting your life purpose, your karma, your prarabdha karma, you stop creating new agamya karma, meaning new desires which are not meant to be yours. When you start running behind a lot of agamya karma, basically you're wasting your time, energy, and that's why sometimes we run out of steam or energy to fulfill what we need to do. Then the second thing that I discover to prepare for the graceful exit is to essentially start completing from the past pain, hurt, hangovers that we unconsciously accumulate in this body. See, these are unconscious incompletion or patterns needs to be completed so that it do not settle in our inner space as dust, as a crack in the mirror. So completion is an important part of a graceful exit. That means understanding that you should not carry any hangovers from your past and you are complete. You're constantly in the space of powerfulness in complete completion, perpetual completion. So that can be done through the science of Purnatva, science of completion, which was given, revived by Swamiji. So if you are interested, you can go and check out in a YouTube channel under Libraries Foundation. Now the third component for graceful exit is purification of your thought process, your thought current. See, in the Eastern tradition, in Vedic tradition, it says that whatever is your last thought before you exit the body, that determines whether you're going to assume another body to come back in the samsara, cycle of life and death, or you're going to choose liberation. That means exit and merge into the subconsciousness. That is enlightenment. See, that is a possibility. It's a possibility for liberation, moksha, or possibility for celebration of liberation, if you know how to prepare for your graceful exit. So, while you are in the body, it is important we spend time purifying your thought current. The inner purification of the thought currents is the job that we need to do, the effort we need to put in to make sure that at the point of the death, there's no more fear. You're simply able to relax, and whatever thought that you carry at that last moment is the moment of only liberation, gracefully exiting the body without struggle, without pain. See, to me, graceful exit means leaving the body, relaxing the body peacefully at the time of death, without struggle, without pain, and without any incompletion that again pull you back to assume another body, the unconscious, birth. So, because I remember reading that the last thought which we carry at the point exit to this body is carried by this prana called udana. Okay, so that udana will carry the jiva, the soul, before we leave the body. So if you are able to carry the purest, with clarity, that you're going to be liberated through this body, no more coming back again to assuming the body again and again through unconscious birth, then that itself, you'll be able to relax peacefully and just allow the energy to take over, and you will have a graceful exit. So I know I've shared something which is highly sensitive, because you see, in the world there are two types of people. One group who believe in reincarnation, rebirthing. There are another group who simply do not understand or do not believe there is this reincarnation theory. That means they only believe in one life. For the first group, this video is for you. You'll enjoy. For the second group, even if you don't believe, it is good that you start working and preparing at the point of exit. Whatever comes, you will be able to understand the doors open to you when even you heard about the possibility that can present itself when you are going through the death process. See, at the point of death, the whole consciousness, the mind will be imbalanced, because you'll be going through so much pain as the energy withdraw from layers and layers and layers. Through the 7 energy body, it start to withdraw from physical, pranic, mental, etheric, causal, cosmic, and nirvanic layer. It start withdrawing layers by layers. If you're able to be balanced, and when you are able to raise your frequency, to be able to go through all the engraved memories imprinted in the different energy body, you will simply be able to walk through these different layers and be able to relax into the cosmos, the superconsciousness. So that is the reason why, while we're in the body, by the time you turn 40, start working on your graceful exit. So with that, I thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Something which is not ordinary, which I decided to share this topic based on my very experience. So if you have any question, feel free to post the question and I'll be more than delighted to reply you. I'd like to thank you for listening. Nityanandam.